What is up? What is happening? Welcome to another episode of So Much Pain with me, Forrest. A web series about my pain, my trauma, uh, how I've been able to process that pain, how that pain has affected me, and how I've passed that pain on to others. Um, Before we get this thing rolling, here's some of my art. I love doing art, man. I love painting because it's another form of therapy for me, and I'm able to just let it all out, put it into the art. And then also, I know at some point, I think I've talked about it before, but I look forward to when I can have others um, come onto this web series and can help you process your pain because I do have a master's degree in social work with a concentration in clinical therapy. I provided therapy at the VA. I would say, some of the most interesting individuals you will ever come across. And also, I definitely want to get this thing rolling because I was talking to a homegirl of mine, and she told me how much she was paying for BetterHelp, going through therapy for BetterHelp, and they were charging her $200 a month. I was like, what the? So I was able to kind of refer her. I gave her the information about my old therapist who only charges $100 a month. And I need to remember to put her information in the show notes. I'll try to remember that when I edit and post this show. But yeah, Michelle Renee Godfrey, Dr. Godfrey was my therapist, great therapist. She helped me when it was after a breakup, and then during the time, not soon after, like it was after my parents had got divorced, and my relationship with my dad was non-existent at the time, and I was just like, I was suicidal. On top of my PTSD, yeah, I spiraled, and she was able to help me get through that. And then when I moved to Houston, I was doing telehealth through her, but I wasn't a big fan of telehealth. And then when I moved back to Atlanta, we were doing telehealth here. But I realized that I have outgrown therapy. There are levels to it. I feel like therapy is for people. I feel like there's a time and a place for therapy. That's what I'll say about that. But due to the fact that I've gone to school for it, you know a lot of the tricks, and it's hard to be present in therapy when you're like, all right, I know what this therapist is about to tell me, or all right, I was like, damn, you told me, like, I already knew that. All right, we like, all right, but shout out to Dr. Godfrey, dope therapist. Definitely holler her. I just know for me, I'm at a stage in my life where I don't know if this is a word, but I can therapize myself. Doing this web series is showing, kind of walking y'all through the process of me just talking through my trauma. I kind of have the questions that I ask myself in my head, but I need to kind of verbalize them so you can kind of see the therapeutic process in real time. But that's either here or there. Let's go ahead and get to this one. This episode, I'm going to talk about the trauma that I experienced through church. Yeah, my church trauma, my church and religious trauma. This came about because of a conversation that I had with my little brother. We grew up in the same. We're biological brothers. We grew up in the same home, but we're 5 years apart. I was born in 82. He was born in 87. And my parents were really, my parents came out of, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. Basically, my brother and I, our experience with religion are just too different, very different. religion stuck onto him. Well, I wouldn't say the religion, but Christianity and that walk kind of stuck with him a little bit more, and wasn't as traumatizing. Whereas me, I ran from it. Uh, I still, I still feel as I still know that God is my source. I believe in the teachings of Jesus. I just, man, I'm not trying to burp in our ear. My walk just looks different. And that's the thing. Like our walks, they just look different. His walk is totally different from mine. He's able to he goes to church on a regular basis. I'm not really a big fan of going to church. Even when I moved back to Atlanta, I tried. I went to well, even when I was in Houston, I was going to where was I going? Where was I going? Uh, Dang. It's Holy Family. There we go. I knew a family was in there. Holy Family. I think it's Episcopal something. It's a offshoot of the Catholic faith, but it was cool. It was majority white, but it was just cool. It was quick. Get in, get out. Nothing overly. You just get your word, get your encouragement for the year. I mean, for the week, and you were good to go. And then when I moved back to Atlanta, um, I was looking for a church home, so I ended up going to Story Church. I know they came out of Hillsong. I didn't have. It was cool, and then some stuff happened. What ended up happening was they had like an investment retreat, and they charged $100. And I was thinking that they were going to teach people how to unlock different ways to make money and invest that money. But when I got there, all they were talking about the same old stuff, um, like talking about real estate, starting a business, and I forgot what else it was. But and then so I was like, I'm gonna take it upon myself to really market myself. So I was passing out. I was passing on my books. I was putting people onto my art, and and so I thought things were cool. Like I was like, all right, yeah, I'm trying to put myself on. And then I think that following Sunday, one of the church members, he pulled me to say, he was like, hey, one of the assistant pastors wants to talk to you. And so I went up there, and the assistant pastor, he was like, hey, what's up? What's going on? He knew my face, but he didn't really know who I was. And he was, we were just going back and forth. And then he was like, yeah, you were at the investment retreat, right? He was like, well, why did you feel the need to, he was like, man, I wish I remember the word. But basically he was saying that I was making people feel uncomfortable. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I was just trying to pass around my art. And he was like, why, he asked me, he's like, do you understand, why, people feel uncomfortable? I was like, because my art is rather raw. And it was kind of the tone and him like kind of in a way chastising me, and then it was a weird look that he was giving me, and I was just feeling like I was getting triggered, and so I just walked up out of there. I was like, you know what, forget this, I'm out, I holler. So I left that alone, and then I took a break for a while, and then my partner was telling me about Change Church, but it was all the way out in Duluth. The message was good, but that drive, man. So just right now, I occasionally will watch a message online, but I just mainly read my Bible, and I pray, and I meditate. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And also, just when I'm out and about, when I feel led, I'll feel led. I pray for people. But going back to that conversation I had with my brother, we had a bit of a falling out because of differences of views because he's just more into sanctification and saving souls and his ministry and stuff like that. I don't even want to get too much into it because I don't want to misinterpret his walk. But just let's say he's more into it than I am. And yeah, some stuff happened, and we kind of stopped talking for a little while, but we have since then, we talked it out. We brothers, we men, we had the conversation. I kind of let him know where I was coming from. He let me know where he was coming from. And I was like, all right, cool. I think we have these ideas of what we want relationships to look like, and they don't always fit out that way. And so we kind of get in our feelings about it. But like, no, you have to work with. Got to meet the person where they are. But I said there's a 5-year age gap between us, and I came onto the scene when my parents were finding themselves outside of religion. They were part of Church of God of Saints of Christ. I can't remember exact the origins of it, but it's very, I want to say maybe like Kojic with a little bit more pageantry. That's the Church of God in Christ with the whole, women wearing dresses, they were wearing uniforms. There was a lot of, they were in church they believed in the Sabbath. They'd be in church all day. And it's all about the 10 Commandments. My bad, I had a smoothie. Yeah, it was very pushed on you, very pressing down, shaking together, running, all that basically that it was. But my parents knew, and my dad came out of the more strict version of it, versus my mom. Yeah, but either way, it was too strict for me. But they didn't want to raise us in that, and so my parents were trying to find themselves. And then in 1983, my dad had 83. That would have put him at. If my dad was born in 57, 83, about 26, he had a spiritual encounter, is what he said. Actually, October of 1983, and he felt like God revealed to him that he was supposed to pursue the ministry full time. And so, I mean, the way he described it sounds like a bipolar episode, if you put it in mental health terms. But he felt like he was supposed to pursue the ministry. He quit his job, and I was one at the time, but he quit his job. He was working in Monsanto, and he left to go to Virginia, and he left me with my mom. And things didn't turn out how he thought it would, and so he had to he ended up coming back home, and the whole ministry didn't work out, and he kind of came back home with his tail in between his legs because he quit his job. We all ended up having to move back in with my grandparents, and my dad felt real defeated, because it's like, hey, I bet he felt like, God, you showed me this vision of what I'm supposed to be doing in my life, but it didn't work out. And yes, so throughout our lives, he would bounce. We would go from church to church, and he never really kind of found his place in the ministry. Like, he tried to do be in the choir. He was an usher, and it just never happened for him. But I will say my dad was like a pastor without a pulpit. Yeah, he would evangelize. He would pray for people. He would minister to people. It was kind of annoying. But now that my dad has passed away and I look back on his life, it was a very beautiful thing to watch. It was like watching Kobe go out there, putting up 81 for Jesus. And he would also take us to those church revivals, the tent revivals, and like Benny Hinn and all that stuff. But where a lot of the trauma comes from is like the only time I would really get in trouble is in school. I'll mess up with my grades, like just because I just wouldn't do the work. And so it would be this cycle of my mom talking to the teacher for hours, and then come back, send a report to my dad. Then my dad, he probably came from the mind set of, hey son, like, you don't got no other responsibilities but school. I busted my butt here just playing, or when he was in the army all day. And all you gotta do is go to school. And yeah, and before I would try to plead my case, and he would read the word, and I would get this whole sermon and the whole, spare the rod, spoil the child. And when I get whooped, it was a beating, and it felt like he was trying to kill me. I've talked about that before, and so there's that part, and also just the times we didn't go to church. My dad would have church at home, and we'd just be sitting there for hours and hours and hours. And I'm like, man, come on, pops. And so and just it's being forced to go to church, and church never did it for me. There were aspects of church that I liked. That I do like the old school, the music, the like that, with the band and stuff like that. But I just wasn't a big fan. So I'm just glad that my church experience wasn't as bad as some people were. They got molested, or um, where they got you had to witness, the pastor screwing around with their mom. I know it was funny because when I was in St. Louis, right around middle school, we were going to St. Louis Christian Center with Pastor Harvey, and I had just started playing the saxophone, and I was like, "Oh, let me be in the church band." And but I just started, and I sucked, and I don't know. I guess it was something to do for me, but I wasn't good, and so I ended up being asked to leave the band, and that devastated me because I had a crush on a young lady, Angela Gist. Oh man, yeah, it's funny because oh man, it's funny because I ended up finding her on LinkedIn, randomly finding her. Did I do some stalker stuff and look her up? I don't know. I guess I was curious and found her. I reached out, and she's like, quit being weird. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to catch up. Oh well, that'd be it. But I guess when it comes down to it, like church was never really my thing. And then there were times where I would feel bad because I would look at my brother's walk and be like, all right, it's not hitting for me the same. It's like, what's going on? But hey, our walks are our walk. Like I said before, I tried to do church. I remember basic training. I would go to church, I guess, to get out the bears, try to get out of cleaning and all the stuff that would go on back there. But then one time I found out like they were taking naps, and I was like, oh man, forget this. I'm staying here. I'm getting to sleep in. Oh man, I'll close out on this note, but I joined. Oh, I'm leaving. Oh yeah, I got time. Leaving other parts of the story out. The things I would do church just to, if I was a young lady I was trying to be with, yeah, I would do church then. My kid's mom, she was a Jehovah's Witness, and I would go to the hall with her just to be with her. Or I remember I joined this 7-day Adventist church because I was dating a young lady. And I was like, all right. I mean, I went so far as I joined the church. I participated in the youth ministry. I even got baptized in that joint. But it's like, yeah, my attention span just ain't built for it. So, but all right, that wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. It's not as traumatic, but it's good to get it out. Is there anything in particular I need to? Hey, therapist brain. Okay, I'm gonna answer out loud. Like, why do you not feel attached to a church? Yeah, because we bounced around so much. We bounced around, and my dad would we go to more so white churches, majority white churches versus the black ones. I think because my dad was traumatized by the black church, would have been interesting to have a conversation with him about that. And then also too, I think my dad, since I guess he felt like he saw the pure essence of ministry. I think he felt like a lot of these pastors were frauds. So might have seeped out to me, but yeah, because I'll be seeing right through it. Hey, that'd be what it be. So I think that's all I got with that one. That's been another episode of So Much Pain, and once again, this falls under Brothers Need Therapy, and I need your assistance with that, all the help I can get. So go ahead and go to the website, BrothazNeedTherapy.org, or you can go to the Instagram, Brothers Need Therapy, and go ahead and copy some merch. I will be vending at PyCon, Protect Your Energy Con. That was on November 11th of this year. Come through, say hi, and y'all be great. Peace.